Hey, looks like we're live everywhere. Yep, should be good to go. Yeah, okay. People are joining on Zoom as well. Right. Good day, everyone, and welcome to a special episode of A Day in the Life of a Cyber Professional, a series that aims to unveil the realities and hidden treasures of a career in cybersecurity. My name is Dr. Mutala. I'll be your host for today's episode because it's a special one for us because it's our 50th anniversary as a company. And just to let you know, what do we do as a company? So this session in particular is a part of our cybersecurity management professional coaching program. And this program is designed to help professionals with relatable experience to build successful careers in cybersecurity. And I'm thrilled to introduce you to a distinguished guest, a very special person. And I should say, before I say anything else, it was, should I say my boss or my client?
I think it's both.
So yeah, I was a consultant on the cyber about 2 years ago now. How time flies, right? Yeah, we I think we had a very good time together. I hope you felt the same way while we worked together. But yeah, it was good working with you. So
Yeah.
he's currently the AVP of Information Risk at Manulife, and he has an impressive 17-year experience in information security. He brings a profound depth of knowledge and experience. His career spans over a decade in leadership, consulting, and audit roles. And of course, you would agree with me that that makes him a well-respected leader and speaker in this industry. And join me as a welcome. And of course, as I'm ready and I'm willing, I hope you're all ready as well, to explore insights and perspectives of a true veteran in the world of cybersecurity. Welcome to the show, Simon.
Thank you so much, Toby, for the warm introduction. And I'm humbled with your kind words. First of all, I'd like to say congratulations on the fifth anniversary of your successful business, and I'm really happy to be part of your podcast or video live stream, whatever you call it. And I'm really happy to answer questions and just tell about myself, and hopefully my stories will help other people succeed in their cybersecurity careers.
Definitely. I'm sure I would. Thank you very much for honoring that invitation. And as you all can probably imagine, he's a busy man, but he has chosen to spend his Saturday morning or afternoon with us. So we appreciate it a lot. And as people are joining, they're joining us on LinkedIn, they're joining us here on Zoom. I just, for the sake of just joining for the first time, I just want to do a quick run of how we run this program, and then we jump right into it because I have questions, and I know our people here they have questions for you as well. So, for the sake of the new joiners, it's the first time we're opening our doors to non people that are not part of our program to join us directly on Zoom. And of course, it's part of our 50th anniversary celebration. How we run this program is as you're joining us, please just go on mute. The first half of the program would be me asking our guests a series of questions I have planned here. And the second half would be an opportunity for you guys to ask questions, whatever you have planned. Just make sure that you raise your hand before you, and when you're called, you're mute and ask a question. Just to make sure that we can all benefit from this together. With that said, when you're ready, Simon, I'm ready to go.
I am ready. Ask your questions, Toby. Excited.
Okay, let's do this. All right. So my very first question, which I'm sure a lot of people here they want to know, I would like you to give us a brief overview of your background and your journey in this space, cybersecurity, of course.
Of course. Thank you. So I usually go backwards. Like I start with my most current role and then I kind of go backwards. But I think given you have your students here or people who just interested in maybe kickstarting their cybersecurity career, let me go back all the way like 17, 18 years ago and tell you about well, actually even more, and tell you how I got into cybersecurity in the first place. So I was in my final year in high school, like many years ago, I don't want to like make myself sound like I'm old, but yeah, it was like early 2000s, and as I was doing my so I had already chosen the university I would like to go, and by the way, it was in Kyiv, Ukraine, and so I chose university, but I didn't choose my profession yet. And I was going through a preparation course. We had math, we had physics, and we had Ukrainian language, which each of those subjects consisted of some curriculum and exams. And I was doing pretty good in those three subjects. And at the end of the year, like closer to the summer, I was given a choice to select my field of study in university, and um, luckily, I had many options given like my pretty high grade, and then I had nothing. I knew nothing about cybersecurity at the time. In fact, if you can imagine, like me, I wasn't even able to install my like Counter-Strike game, which I like. So I would call my friend who is actually he has built successful career in legal and then transitioned to IT. He was pretty geeky at the time, and I would call him and say, "Hey, like this Counter-Strike is asking me for this key. Like, can you help me?" And so that was the level of my computer literacy at the
Wow.
time, and I want to be a journalist. Then I wanted to be a lawyer. Then I wanted to be a dentist, and all those weird choices. And then here I am, like in final year of my school, and I had to make a choice, right? And I'm sure many of you can relate to this sort of like fork in a road where you have to decide which way you want to go. So I was not making the decision at the very last moment, and so then I had to just trust the statistics. I asked, okay, so like for every profession people choose, give me how many people have applied to each of those professions. And guess what, information security was something new, like no one really knew what it was. And so it was 20 people per place. So it was like at the top of the list, like in terms of demand. I'm like, well, a lot of people can go wrong, right? I'm at the mercy of statistics. People know better than me. That's what I'll do. And so I
Mhm.
applied, and here I am, 20 something years in cybersecurity, and I really enjoy this field. I love what I do. I've had so many good people who worked with me over the years, and I think this is a very rewarding career. And so that's how I got into security. And then obviously, I realized that, oh my gosh, like I need to learn math, I need to learn statistics, I need to learn physics, programming, and all other things. And I'm sure that many of you can relate. And fast forward, I got my first job in 2005 as a network administrator, and then I had to build the network infrastructure for a big company from scratch, which was challenging, but I got so much experience. I use it even today. And then I kind of switched to network administration and security. So my team lead allowed me to manage Active Directory at the time, and allowed me to manage some proxy server and certificate services, and all those other security services within Microsoft environment. And I'm so grateful for my team to provide me this opportunity, because I really learned a lot in 3 years I was in that company. And then I just kind of hit the ceiling, and I'm like, I may be spending like 10-15% of my time like managing the environment I built, and I need a new challenge. And that's why I saw that my company at the time was audited by one of the big four companies, Deloitte. And I'm like, I like those guys. Like they wear suits, they wear ties, and look smart and ask smart questions. I want to be like one of those people. And then so I switched to consulting and IT audit, and this is how I learned how big enterprises work. And then I moved to Canada in 2011, and I've been with financial companies ever since, like TD Bank, then Scotiabank. Then I was managing cybersecurity program for one of the banks in Quebec for 2 years, and then in 2019. My very first boss, manager who hired me at TD, she was at Manulife at the time, and she's like, Simon, why don't you come and work for, for me again? And I was thrilled, and I mean, we keep in touch, and she's one of the best mentors and leaders I've ever had, and so that's how I switched to Manulife. And honestly, I usually change places like every 2 3 years, and it's been 4.5 for me so far, and it's my third role, and I actually see like bright future in this company. It's such a great environment. For those of you who have a chance maybe to work there at one day, I highly recommend. It's a really good environment. So yeah, that's who I am. How I got into security, I guess by accident, you can tell, and but I have zero regrets of that choice, and I think that's such a great field to be in.
Absolutely. Thank you. That's definitely a very interesting story because coming from not knowing anything about the computers to setting up a whole network, that's something like in the space of how many years, that's definitely huge. It's huge. And to me, it goes to show that anything is possible. And I've seen people say, I'm not technical, I'm not sure I can do this. Anyone can. Yes, you don't necessarily need the technical background. You must have done something that relates to cybersecurity in one shape or another. And you can build yourself. You can be anything. And you said something interesting in passing. You said your friend that used to help you with computers was a lawyer and transitioned into IT. That was an interesting part I picked that maybe a lot of people didn't pick. That's
Yes.
it tells you that any background you can succeed in this space if you're passionate enough and you're ready to do the work required. You definitely can
Yeah.
go places. Thank you very much for sharing.
Yeah, and I would just say I think it's good that you picked on this, Toby. Like if you have passion about something, I think that's one of the key things, the key factors of your success, because you have to love what you do. Like if you come to work and and you just hate it, and then you just look at the clock to, okay, when is 5 or 6 o'clock so I can go home and do something I like. This is not gonna be sustainable. So you have to love what you do. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. And for those wondering, if you've checked my profile, you see Delight, and then you check Simon's profile, you see Delight. We didn't actually work together at Delight.
No,
And
it's a good place to be. I
it
I
is, yeah,
recommend.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is, yeah, definitely. So, and yeah, we did work together at Manolife. I was a consultant at Manolife. Yes, Manolife is a beautiful place to work. It can tell you that. I have a lot of people working there. If you find yourself there, I'm sure just count yourself lucky. It's a good place. Right. To my next question, and if in case you're wondering, Simon is an AVP, is an AVP at Manolife. He's a hiring manager, of course. I'm just wondering, as hiring manager, what are the top qualities you look for in a candidate for cybersecurity roles? And you've
Yeah.
been doing this for many years, so I'm sure you have a lot to share.
Yeah, it's a very good question, Toby. And honestly, I when I hire people, and like over the past, I don't know, like 3 4 years, I probably saw like easily over 200 people. And so I have my checklist, if you will, like questions I usually ask, and look, things that I look for in people. And I like to use a little bit of more like a scientific approach than, just go with the flow. And I like to compare apples to apples. So, um, the checklist obviously helps. And what I will say is that, one of the top qualities I look for in people, and I'll start with soft skills. Okay, I think hard skills, it's usually easier because you just read the requirements, and then you kind of know, like if it's asking for 5 years of experience, then it means it's not an entry level role. So, most companies, they mean what they say, right? So, and if they're looking for a certain technical skill set, then they usually say that. Now, I am guilty of this, and I probably can say on behalf of other hiring managers, we do tend to put more stuff than we actually need at work. And like one of those things is education. Honestly, in security, Um, you know, I've been fortunate to work with a lot of people from different backgrounds, and like my team is probably made up of like 80% of immigrants, like people like myself who came to North America for more better opportunities for themselves and their families, and we most of us have some degree from back home, and myself included, and it's good to have, but when I look at hard skills, I look at your experience, I look at your knowledge. I tend to not care as much about your education, just because you could have gotten something from somewhere, and I have no clue like how good that education is, right? And again, like my education is from Ukraine. It's okay, but I know it's not as good as, I don't know, like U of T, right? Or you know what I mean, or University
Yeah.
of Alberta. So
Mhm.
it's just different level, different bar. So if you know your stuff, you have experience, right? You have knowledge, like you know what you're talking about. Make sure you have some certificates, because certificates, they are pretty transferable. You might have CSSP from wherever. I don't care. Like I know like ISC squared keeps that standard like everywhere, or you have certifications from ISAC or from Cisco, from Microsoft. That's good. So that can be a good substitution of lack of North American education, if you will. But then if we switch to soft skills, I would say the biggest, or the first thing I look at is your integrity and your honesty. I won't like say something new to you, but this is a pretty challenging environment, cybersecurity, and there's only so much time we all have. And I am, as a manager, I have to trust you. Like there is no other way. Like I just won't have time to go and verify everything that you do. So that trust, it's 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 such an important thing. And it's not just like I trust that you do a good job. I also, if I build the trust with you as an employee, I know I can give you feedback. I know I can get feedback from you. If there is no trust, like it's not gonna work. So make sure that, when you have an interview and there's only so much time that a hiring manager has, like that short window, maybe 45 minutes, maybe 60 minutes with the candidate. Make sure you are honest and you just be yourself, right? Don't make things up. Trust me, like I've asked this question 100 times. I know the answer, right? If you try to make it up, I can see that. And like there is a big red flag beside your name, and I'm not gonna talk to you again, right? So don't make things up. It's okay to not know everything. It's okay
Absolutely.
to say, I don't know, but I think, if you can say, well, maybe can I say what I think? Sure, but then don't make things up, and it's okay to say I don't know. Now, another one is self-awareness. I'm looking into people who know their strengths and weaknesses, and please, if I ask a question, tell me about like the biggest mistake you've ever made. Just be honest. Don't try to twist it in a way that you show me your accomplishment, because we're all humans. We all make mistakes, and it's okay to acknowledge them. It's okay to learn from those mistakes. And actually, I'm looking for um, a mistake that you made and how you learned from that mistake. I think that when I ask this question, that's what I'm looking for. So yeah, some people, I don't know, they just maybe read things on Google, and smart HR people say, "Oh, like just don't acknowledge your weakness, make it your strength." Yeah, this is not working, at least not for me. Um, yeah, and then I look at positive energy. I like to bring people who will be a good fit to the team. You need to be a good team member, right? Unless you are hired as an individual contributor, like you have your own thing to do, and you don't collaborate. This is very rare. In most cases, especially in big companies, you must be a good team player, and you need to be likable, and you need to be friendly to other people. Like no one wants jerks in their teams, right? So and bring that positive energy.
Yes.
Obviously, uh, bring the best of yourself to the interview. I know how stressful it is, trust me, have a good night's sleep, right? The best thing you can do before the interview, just have good sleep. Eat well, drink some water, don't overeat so that like your energy is drained. Put something on you like that makes you feel more comfortable, more confident in yourself, right? Don't overdress. Like I don't know, like some companies may be looking for like people in ties. Like I don't care about that. But you know what I'm saying? Like bring the best of you to the interview so you can, like, you are the product. I know it sounds a little bit harsh, but you are selling yourself. So don't
So,
short sell yourself.
mhm.
And then obviously I look at communication, like written communication, verbal communication. You need to be able to communicate. And I'm not talking about like your accent. I do have accent. Toby, you have your accent.
For
We
sure.
we communicate well, like we understand each other,
Absolutely. Yes.
right? So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about be clear what you want to say that. Listen. Listening is a key. Make sure that you hear the question. Make sure you take your time to process. Don't rush. And then I think those are like the four things I would say that you know
Yeah,
are the most important.
definitely. Thank you. Those are, for me, those are key. And I appreciate something you said, which is true, very true. And I've seen it the times, the fact that you touched on the experience and the knowledge, but yeah, that can be built. That's fine. Just show that. But on top of that, be human, be a person. Own up to your weakness. We all make mistakes. We make them a lot. And as long as we can learn from them, communicate well, bring your true self, be a people person. You're engaging with someone, you're selling yourself. That's what it is. That's what an interview is all about. And as far as I know, hiring manager does not expect you to know everything. In fact, you wouldn't even know the environment you're going into because you still have to learn that environment anyways. You have to learn the tools, you have to learn how things work there. But ultimately, your soft skills matter more. Thank you so much for that, Simon. For the sake of time, let me jump to the next question. It's
Yeah.
how important is, which I guess ties to what you were saying earlier, is continuous learning and staying updated in this space. How important is it?
Yeah, it is. I can't underestimate how important continuous learning is. I mean, I'm sorry you chose this career. Like you'll have to for the rest of your life if you want to stay in security or any computer related field, like you will have to learn. It's not like you learn something and you relax like for the next 10 years. No, you have to be up to date. And I, one of the questions I asked on the interview is, um, can you tell me can you tell me something about like example of a recent data breach or maybe
Mm-hmm.
security incidents, right? So that tells me two things. Like the worst answer is that you say, "Well, I don't know because I don't have time." I mean, we're all busy. Trust me, I had answers like that, and we're all busy. We all have, either you work and then you study, or you work and study, then you have family, you have friends, you have a dog, you have whatever. It's fine. You are complex, human being. Like you, I don't expect you to just focus on security, but it's all about priorities. Like you need to set aside some time for you to know what's going on in the industry that you are in, or the industry that you go in. So make sure that you know what's going on. I can tell you some things that how I can stay up to date. Okay, and like with a family man with two kids, and I do volunteer in the community, like not security related, something else, and um, there's only so much time I have. So what I do is I subscribe to some newsletters. So
Yes.
I follow a couple of top voices in security. Daniel Miessler is one of them. I subscribe to Bruce Schneier. He's like the father of cryptology, very famous individual. I also subscribe to Sans Bytes, I think it's called. It's a it's a I think it's a weekly thing that they send to you about what's going on in the industry. I also subscribe to a couple of more newsletters. I like Clint forgot the name of that, but it's Clint. He works at SemCrab, and he does a lot. He he brings this weekly newsletter with cloud security news, application security, just social engineering, and all other things. So he's the guy I like to read. Then LinkedIn. If you don't use LinkedIn actively, you're making a huge mistake. So use LinkedIn and follow top voices there and see what people say. If you like someone, like if they are a role model for you, just follow. You don't have to connect to them. And some people make a mistake. They try to connect, or they connect and they ask you for like a job. Do you have a job? Like, don't do this mistake. Just you have to build that gradually. You can't just, like there needs to be balance, right? So if you follow someone, make sure that you read what they post. Maybe just put a comment here and there. And then if you, let's say, have 20 people you follow, just, one or twice a day, just make some comments on different LinkedIn posts. And, over time, like people start noticing, okay, so I know Toby has been, commenting on my posts. So, like over time, it builds awareness, right? And then maybe you can connect, and then maybe you ask for virtual coffee, or if you happen to be in the same town with the person, maybe even ask for like real coffee or something like that. Don't ask for too much, because people might say no. But if you ask for like career advice, if you ask for or like you've done those things, let's say, and I'm working on this my personal project in, I don't know, large language model security, and it's okay. Like people usually are willing to share, right? Um, so, but you do this gradually, right? So you build that over time. And I already mentioned, if you about your personal projects, make sure you do some stuff hands-on. So what companies are looking for, not just your CSSP or some credentials that you have. They're actually looking into some hands-on experience that you have. And what's the best way to do that is to work on your personal projects. Make sure you sign up at GitHub, create a space, pick some problems that you can choose, you can solve, right? Build something, then post it on Medium, on Substack, whatever you use, LinkedIn. So like you already doing something which is really good. You can put this in your resume, but you also like creating your personal brand. Um, people know that, like so and so has done this project, and it's just like helps you with developing your personal brand. Take certifications, hands-on certifications, vendor-neutral certifications. A couple of certifications I can mention to you is CSSP. It's not an entry-level certification, although some people take it and then maybe they wait out until they get X number of years of experience that is required. There is more entry-level. I think it's called SSCP, and then IEC Squared recently came up with this new certification, which is free. Like you can, literally anyone can take it, right? ISACA also a good place. Like they have CISM, CISA. So those are like enterprise grade certifications, which will help you land a job in a big corporation. There are some more niche certifications. If you're into pen testing, for instance, offensive security has what's called OSCP. It's Offensive Security Certified Professional, and then there is an expert level certification. This is a must. Well, maybe I shouldn't say must, but it will open many doors for you into pen testing, threat hunting, and like red teaming kind of work, because it is hands-on, and if you have that, then it just shows that you get basics, maybe more than basics. But people who have been in penetration testing industry, they say it's an entry-level certification. I don't know. Like I think it's more than that. But then look at Microsoft Azure Security. AZ500 is a good one. Look at AWS. They have different certifications. Because I won't tell you a secret if I say that all big companies use big cloud providers. So whether it's Amazon or Microsoft or Google,
Yeah,
then you just increase your chances to get hired if you have relevant certifications. And last
absolutely.
but not least, go and socialize. Look up for meetups, virtual, in person. Look for conferences. A lot of conferences give students a discount, or just make it free. And again, there's a bunch of virtual ones that you can attend, and try to socialize. Post about this on LinkedIn. This will help you with personal brand, and yeah, just continue doing this. Like, consistency is the key. Like, don't just do this for 2 weeks and then take a break. And even if you don't see results right away, sometimes it's a hockey stick trajectory, right? You don't see a result until quantity becomes quality, and then you kind of takes you to the next level of your
Absolutely.
career.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. And I don't know how much time you have over. It looks like we'll go over today. I'm happy to do that. I'm enjoying myself. If you're good to go over, then will probably go half an hour over time, if that's okay with you.
I'm fine, Toby. Yeah,
Perfect. Because I've only had three of my questions and I want to get
sure,
I
no
got to
problem.
give the audience time. I like a lot of like everything you said, and you talked about projects, and people always ask, "Oh, I'm doing these things. How do I put it on my resume?" And I think you just nailed it. Someone said something that you can get experience in three ways. One is your paid experience, two is your unpaid experience, and three is experience from others. And our program is structured that way. You come on our program, you're working on projects straight away because that's the only way you can prove to yourself that you know what you're learning, right? So just for the sake of anyone here wondering, is my does my unpaid experience count? It does count. And don't discount your experience on your resume by putting unpaid or internship or something like that. Experience is experience. You know it, you've done it. No one would ever ask you, did you do it in your house or did you do it in an office? You know it, right? So thank you for sharing that. Very important. And of course, I can't emphasize using LinkedIn enough. Yeah, if you know how to use it, it works like magic. It really does. Thank you so much, Simon. And my next question would be, I guess, similar to what you ask people in, in interviews is, what challenges have you seen cybersecurity professionals face and how do you recommend they address them?
Yeah, it's a very good question, Toby. So I'd say that you chose cybersecurity, or you're thinking about choosing cybersecurity. I won't lie, like, this is pretty high-paced and high-stress environment, especially if you go into security operations. Normal people, let's say developers or data scientists, like UX designers, they there's Friday afternoon, they kind of pack up for the weekend and then they just go enjoy, their family, friends. Um, Not in security because, well, depends on the role. But if you're in
Yeah.
security operations, like SOC analyst, this
Yeah.
is when all the fun stuff starts to happen. Bad actors, they tend to make the most damage on Fridays before the long weekends or long holidays. Think about Log4j, right? So when it
Yeah.
happened, just on the day before Christmas or 2 days before Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah, so unfortunately, that's adds a lot of stress, right? And like I said, it's high-paced environment. You have to learn a lot, then you work under so much stress because of constant um, threats and risks that come in your way, and it's just it takes a toll on you, and that's real. And some people just burn out, right?
Yeah.
And they some of them switch to like less stressful career. So what you need to do is you need to build anti-fragility. That's the term which was coined by Nassim Nicholas Taleb. He wrote a book. It's called Anti-Fragile Things That Gain from Disorder. It's similar to resilience, but then it's a little bit more. It's like, as you get pressured, like you get bombarded with problems, not only do you withstand them, but you also it makes you stronger. It makes you wiser. Just gives you experience, which then kind of propel you in your career. So how to do that, right? That's a good question. Well, it's easy to say than do. I agree. It's hard thing to do. So what works for me is it's a philosophy called Stoicism, and I'm sure many of you have heard about this. It's like 2,000 years old. Well, more than that, obviously. Um, and it's I like it because it has human in the center of that, and it basically there's many things in Stoicism. So I encourage you to dig in and maybe find some books or some YouTube videos on that. But I'll just mention a couple of things that I personally take from Stoicism, and that helps me a lot in my work and also personal life. Focus on what you can control. Okay, there's only so much you can control, right? Let's say you apply for a job, and whether you're going to be hired or not, you can control that. It's up to a hiring manager. It's up to circumstances that beyond your control, because that hiring manager might have someone in mind, right? Like they're someone they know, and no matter how you try, like you try hard, you can control the outcome, right? But what you can control is how do you prepare yourself for that interview? How do you present yourself? Um, have you always do your best, okay? And your best may not be enough sometimes, right? Because like I said, you can control the outcome, but if you know that you've done your best, you prepared for this interview, like you physically, mentally, you learned, you did what was in your power, and still didn't succeed. So it'd be like there's going to be something else for you, right? But you shouldn't worry much about things that you cannot control. Don't stress out, right? It just eats your energy, drains your energy. Um, you don't always control circumstances, like I said, right? But you always control your response to them, right? If you got rejected, um, sure, it's frustrating, but then it's up to you how you control your response, right? Does this demotivate you? Like, do you just kind of go down and doubt yourself, and it lowers your self-esteem? I hope not. But it's up to you how you control the response. If someone says you something unpleasant, hey, like it was them, it wasn't you. Like it's not your
Yeah,
fault
it's not
someone said
reflected
that
on
to you.
you. Yes.
Exactly right. But it's you that control the outcome. And I like this analogy with DDoS, the distributed denial of service, right? So I'll use this for, let's talk about focus or attention, right? There is only so much focus we have in a day. So, and we have to protect it from all different threats, all different gravitational forces that we have. You almost have to build this defense in depth around your attention, right? So what would you do in real life? Like if it was your like server of a database with sensitive data, you would put firewalls, you would put like web application firewalls, maybe you put like
Yes, yes.
intrusion detection, yeah, IDS, IPS, thank you. You put like load balancers, you put those monitoring maybe in place. It's the same kind of you have to do in real life, right? So like you need to protect that, right? So I know like I
No,
diverged a
no,
little bit the
okay.
focus.
I get what you're
Yeah,
saying. I hope
yeah,
the
yeah,
gets it.
yeah.
Like
So
you
it's up
protect your
to you, like
sanity very much.
exactly. So, yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's it. Focus on the process, not the outcomes, right? So I've already mentioned this. So um, then what's important is you are the average of your habits. Build good habits. There's good books like Atomic Habits is one of the like the best sellers, which I personally recommend, from James Clear. Um, it's You need to build habits, and you need to learn how to maintain your habits, because some people are good. Oh, I'll go to gym tomorrow, and you go to gym 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and then you give up, right? It's also how you control your habits. How you maintain your habits. Um, and really, like if you have good habits and you take care of your body, you take care of your mind, then guess what? Like it's gonna be a well-oiled machine, which will be successful, right? Then don't suffer imaginable troubles or problems, right? Some people just say, oh, like they just assume something, right? Like, why would you assume? Like, you don't know, right? So assume
Mhm.
something good. Don't assume something bad. Or like
Absolutely.
they didn't like this company didn't call me after my interview like I had 3 weeks ago. And it was probably something I didn't say that or I shouldn't say that. Like it's just your assumption. You don't know what was
Mhm.
the real reason, right? So don't suffer problems that you just might have just made up, right? Um, don't be afraid to ask for help. A lot of us will struggle alone, and you think something is bad in you, and but hey, like, have you asked for help? Well,
Mhm.
the worst thing that can happen is that person will say, "Sorry, can help you," right? That's the worst thing. But
Absolutely.
what's the best thing? They will help you,
You get
or
the help you
they'll
need.
give you an
Yes.
advice. So just don't be afraid to ask, right? If you don't ask, you won't get, right?
Absolutely.
Don't complain. Don't like complaining. Self-pitying is one of the most damaging things you can do to yourself. Don't complain. Just do your best. Don't complain. If you know you did your best, why would you complain about yourself? Like you did your best. Then obviously don't complain about other people. You've given them your energy. You've given them your time. Why would you do that, right? And then don't judge other people for the same reason. Like your time is valuable. Funnel your energy to what matters to you. Like don't just like um, disperse your energy on something that doesn't help you. And then learn to say no. Like don't just say yes to everything that comes your way. So those are the things that I personally liked in Stoicism. And as you can see, there is no like religion or something like it's spiritual, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like just use it. Those are
Yes,
good
man. Yes.
things you can pick from Stoicism.
For sure. Thank you so much. And I don't know if the others are picking it. It sounds like life advice, but it is career advice. Because what I say to people is treat your career as though your life depends on it, because it does depend on it. Your career is still your life, so you have to live it together. So, and a lot of the things they said now, if they're the things that a life coach would give you, do these things that they're pretty much career advice too. So, you know the things you have control over, you know what you don't have control over, and manage the ones you have control over well. I heard something recently and I love it and I'd like to use it. It says, the person said, I used to say, oh, I'll make sure I take care of you. But then he said, no, it doesn't say that anymore. It says, I'll take care of me for you. If you can take care of you for me, then we're good. So, because I have control over what I can offer, what I can do. I can take care of myself. But if you take care of yourself, then we're good. Right? Then I've seen people come on calls with it and ask, can you guarantee that I will get a job? No one guarantees such. There's so many things, there's so many factors. What we can guarantee is the fact that we will do what we promise. Because that's us taking care of us for you. If you can guarantee that you will put in your best, then we have a deal. We have something to do together, right? So and I guess that's a very good, very important advice I want a lot of people to take away as you're preparing for your career. Thank you so much, Simon. I have two questions before I open the floor for everybody.
Yeah.
So, are there specific areas within cybersecurity that you believe will be significant growth, or that people need to look into to advance their careers, say in leadership or in cybersecurity? Does that question make sense?
Yeah, it does. It
Okay.
does. Yeah, well, it's a loaded question. What you probably expect to hear is that, I'll start talking about like quantum computing and AI and all those nice things, and I can talk about this for quite some time. What I will say is, we often forget that we need to take care of the basics, and the basics is it's very simple. Like protect your identity, right?
Yes.
Use MFA, multi-factor authentication. Use you know strong non-repeatable passwords or passphrases. Don't give a chance to the bad actors to do password spraying, where like they just get one password and they just try to use the password for other services.
Yeah.
This is up to you. This is just hygiene, cyber hygiene. Um, patch your and by the way, like things that I say are applicable in your personal life, like your personal computers and phones, and it's equally applicable to like the workspace that
Absolutely.
you're looking for or you already in. Patching is important, right? What else? Like harden your operating system, harden your databases, cloud services. And things like that. Take care of the basics. You can look up like CIS top 20, I think it's called, controls that they
Yes.
recommend. So that's a good place to start. You can apply this to a small company, like literally like few people, up to like a huge enterprise. So you don't have to, like, we tend as human beings, we tend to talk about something cool and exciting, but we often forget about basics. So I would say that that's it's not like you're gonna see a significant growth because it's been there, like the threats
Same
and
concept.
risks have been there for some time. But
Yes.
if we do talk about cool things, obviously AI is, I don't have to tell you like what the rollout of ChatGPT in late 2020, like this field has just exploded, and everyone is doing something about AI, and large language models have become like such a huge topic within natural language processing. What I would say is obviously learn that, right? Because there's a chance that you know if you do come to big companies, especially, like they'll have to deal with this, and to have some knowledge experience there would be good. But don't just focus on security alone. Focus on the subject matter, like what you're trying to secure. Maybe
Mhm.
it's your I'll use an example with AI. Like, learn about what large language model is. Like, it really will help you to secure it. Cloud
Absolutely.
security. Learn about cloud services. Like, what is S3 bucket? What is blob storage?
Yeah.
How it's set up, right? Then
Mhm.
you learn how to secure it. So learn the basics
Yeah.
to understand what's under the hood, and this will really help you with securing that thing. And I think you asked also about the leadership.
Yeah.
Um,
To grow,
Look,
how to grow.
it's
Yeah.
yeah. As I said, just so let's say you find yourself in a place where you are. This is work. You do like security, some security stuff, and you are individual contributor. Like, you don't lead anyone, and but you want to. Well, first of all, not everyone wants, right? So you have to be conscious, and you have to be like, just say it to your manager. Say, hey, like, one day, I want to be a manager. Like, can you help me with that? Just as simple as that. Put your intention to them, because guess what? Like, we don't read minds. We don't read your thoughts. So if you just sit and you get frustrated because people didn't guess what you want, like, I'm sorry, I
You
can't
can
do this,
rest.
right? I don't have that superpower, so you have to
To
tell
read
me.
minds.
Yeah. And honestly, it's not for everyone. Like, I know a lot of good people who are terrible managers,
Hmm.
but not a lot. But I know some really good people, really smart, terrible managers, and
Yes, absolutely.
they know that. So because leadership, management, leadership, well, I'll use them here, kind of in a similar way, although there is huge difference.
Yes,
It's
definitely.
not for everyone. Like, you have to love it. And then
Yeah.
once you put it out there, then maybe sit with your manager, leader, and say, hey, how can you get there? I
Mhm.
realize, it's going to take some time. I need to build some leadership muscle. Can you help me? And then that person can just help you build a roadmap for you, and maybe give you some opportunities so you can take those opportunities, showcase your results,
Mhm.
produce good outcomes, and then eventually you'll get that, right? But in case, let's say, you don't get as lucky with your manager, you have to sometimes find or create opportunities for yourself. And
Mhm.
sometimes our work doesn't give you what you want. Try volunteering. It's a great way. Like, I'm on a board of nonprofit, and I've done like some pretty high profile leadership roles in that. You know what, like, my work doesn't really give me that opportunity, and it's fine. Like, you have to find it, right?
Yes.
Whether it's with volunteering, whether it's I think volunteering is really the
It's
easy
good. Yes.
kind of way because there is usually like lower bar for you to get in, and then you can try yourself as a leader and see what works, what doesn't work. Maybe you don't like it. Maybe you feel like you need to do that, but hey, like not everyone needs that, and you might be
Mhm.
well off like as an individual contributor, like a senior architect or senior someone consultant,
Mhm.
making 150 thousand per year and be happy, right? So
Absolutely. Yes.
yeah.
No, no, that's absolutely correct. And of course, you still went back to that point that even unpaid experience counts. When you're volunteering, it's unpaid experience. You can use it in your resume. You can be an individual contributor in your company, and then you're like a director of something with a not-for-profit. If you're getting that level of experience there, you can use it to get to the next level. If you feel like you've built it and you're comfortable going for it, you can use that to get to the next level you need to get to. Right. And I've seen leaders say, you know what, I'll give you the training you need, I'll give you everything, but I don't think an opportunity can open up for you here. If you find something else outside, I will be happy to support that journey for you. So just be ready, be open and be ready to share your aspirations with whoever your leader is, right? Thank you for that. My last question, then I'll open the floor to everybody, will be how important is collaboration within the cybersecurity community?
uh Collaboration, cybersecurity. Are we talking about like collaboration at work, like community
At
at
both, like
work?
at work, or maybe even being a part of a community, how that can help you
Mhm.
grow your career and all that.
Yeah.
So it could be,
Um,
yeah, like both actually.
yeah. Okay, maybe it's not the answer like everyone is hoping for, but I mean, you don't have to be part of the community. Like if it's, it's okay for you to have like other communities, not security related. Like for instance, when I finish my work, unless I'm working on some external speaking engagements or something else related to the subject, hey, like I have other things to do in life. Like I like walking, hiking, or just helping people with maybe something else. Like and it's okay. Like we all have needs, and like your hobby doesn't necessarily have to be security. But if you do find yourself that security is really something that excites you, and you can't think of anything else, and you do work, and then you kind of have all those ideas and security related, hey, I lucky you. I think that's amazing. So you can combine both, right? And a collaboration, I think it's important. It's important at work. Like I said before, it's very rare you are hired as an individual contributor and then you work in your silo. Like you do have to collaborate, learn how to do this. It's a skill you can learn, right? Don't just fix. Don't think that, oh, I don't know how to do this. Like I struggle with this. Learn. Like it's not something that you have to be born with. Um, and some, like if you like to, let's say you volunteer in cybersecurity community outside of work, hey, like there is different ways you can do that. Why don't you might organize meetup, security meetup. um, it's a good thing. It's volunteering. It helps you with networking, helps you with experience. Do you need to collaborate with other people? Absolutely, because you chances are like you won't be able to do this by yourself, so you need to be able to collaborate. And like I said, it's a skill you can learn and you should learn, especially if you looking into like entering a big organization where really like it's collaboration, communication, which will be key in to succeed in your role.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's very good. A lot of very important information there for everybody to take on. And at this point, I can see chats already. People are asking questions, but um, it's time to unmute or raise your hand. I'll call you. Can unmute and ask the question. Okay, I can see one hand up. Let me see if we can. Okay, I believe that's Michael. You can ask your question. You can unmute and ask the
Hi,
question.
hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Thank you for your presentation, and I like how you answer most of the questions. It shows your love for cybersecurity and your knowledge. And it actually boosted my confidence also in cybersecurity. But these are my questions. So, what cybersecurity certification would you like to see on candidates' resume? And also, what are your expectations for a cybersecurity analyst that you hired in 30 days joining your organization? Thank you.
Good question.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for the question. Certifications, Toby, what I can do, I can share a link. There is a great resource. Like this person just keeps track of all security certifications. Well, probably not all, but there's like more than 100 of them, which you can choose the track. Like if you want to do vulnerability management, you want to do security operations, you want to do governance risk compliance and things like that, and then
In
also you
GRC.
pick. Yeah. So you can then see which certification kind of fits your profile, right? And things that you want to do, because it might be different. So for analyst, I'm assuming you're talking about SOC analyst. I would say CISA.
I believe he was referring to more of a GRC.
GRC, yeah.
GRC.
GRC,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. So GRC, that's easy because that's what I usually do. So CISSP, I already mentioned about this. Like there is a more junior certification before CISSP. It's called SSCP. I don't see many people with this certification, to be honest with you. So you might as well just go with CISSP. Another one which I see a lot is CISA from ISACA, CISM, CRISC. So those are the three I usually see in the resumes, which is fine. And I know the roles I posted in the past, I usually mention these four certifications. There is another one similar to CSSP. It's called CCSP, Certified Cloud Security Professional. It is the same ISC squared org which does CISSP. And hey, by the way, CISSP turns 30 years, I think, this year, so it's pretty old. CCSP, I think since 2016 or 17, so pretty new, but they are the most popular. I know because I volunteer with IC Squared and I do come up with exam questions. And I've done both CSSP and CCSP, and that's usually where people usually go after those two. And so ISACA, IC Squared, I don't see as many other like Security Plus from CompTIA, not as much, to be honest with you. EC Console, I think, has something, and I can't remember.
Quite a number of them,
as CC, so I think one of them, but it's like more advanced certification. So I would say these five I mentioned. So CSSP, CCSP from IC Squared, then CISA, CISM, and CRISC from ISACA. If you have like 3 or 2 out of 5 or 3 out of 5, there is a high chance you're gonna get through a HR firewall, and your resume is gonna be seen by a hiring manager, because let's be honest, like there is many applications, and you have to get through HR, right? That's and how you get that, use keywords, like make sure that you read the job description, use some of those words. Hey, like just use ChatGPT, here's the job description, here's my resume, just make it, obviously don't make things up, right? If you didn't do something, don't do that, but you can align, using technology, and ChatGPT is a great tool for that.
Absolutely. It's interesting that it's pretty much what we preach. Like you're saying, ChatGPT can help you adapt your resume. It's your information. It's your journey. So ChatGPT will just help you adapt it to what the job description wants, right? And use keywords. Like even let's say you're working towards CISSP, for example, you can put it there as in view. There's a good chance that the ATS will pick it as a key term, right? Because you're working towards it, and as long as you can defend that you're working towards it, that's fine. Right.
Thank you very much.
You're
And
welcome.
is it okay to add you on LinkedIn?
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah,
You can
thank you
follow
very
me, you
much.
can add me. Yeah, no problem.
Okay,
And good luck
thanks a lot.
with job,
And if you
looking
can
for a
share
job.
that link
Thanks.
with me, just the link to this list of certifications, I'll share it with everybody after the program.
I will. Okay.
Tutu, I see your hand up. You can go next.
Simon, it's a huge pleasure to have you here. Honestly, my name is Addie. DML calls me Tutu. My full name is Addie Tutu. I've recently made the switch, and I'm specializing in cybersecurity from a solutions implementation point of view. And on I really, really enjoyed this session for a few reasons. One of them is that when you mentioned it's okay to say you don't know, I recently did that on an interview and I kept like going over it. Like, did I mess up by saying that? And like, instead of like making something up, I just said, I don't know. But if I did do that, this is what I would like, this is the approach I would take. So I'm glad you said that. So thank you for that. I think the person you were trying to remember was Clint Gilbert, because I follow him on Twitter as well, and he has a lot of like nice insights there. So that was because yeah, that was that. Anyway, the question that I had was that is it okay to like what makes a good risk report? Like what do you look for on a good like structured risk report? How detailed, how comprehensive do you want it to be?
Okay. Thank you for the question, Ivy. Nice meeting you. It's we're talking about threat risk assessment, probably, if I may guess. Look, there are some methodologies out there which can be used, and I've done many of them myself, like in different places I worked, and like now my team does it, and it depends on your specific methodology at that company. Most of them go by the same rule. Like you identify your threat scenarios or risk scenarios, right? You can go detailed. Like let's say if you look at application security domain, then your threat scenarios can be let's say someone can do code injection, right? So you can make a threat scenario based on injection. Then what you do, you assess your inherent risk. So you look at impact versus likelihood, and your likelihood is probably going to be high because inherent risk means that there's no controls or few controls. So you assess that, then you identify your controls, right? And then this is where you can be detailed, like very prescriptive, or you can be more high level. There is no one size fit all, to be honest with you. I know like government like threat risk assessments, which are like 100 pages, right? And they pay, I don't know, like 20,000, even more for that threat risk assessment. It depends on the requirement. But if let's say like my team, every team member does a couple of risk assessments per month, plus they have other things to do. So it can be as simple as Excel file, which has your risk or threat scenario, then inherent risk assessment, then you have controls, then you look at controls, how effective they are, you test design effectiveness, operating effectiveness, depends on requirements, then you assess residual risk, and then you give recommendations. So if you can picture like this big Excel table, that's it, and just use common sense, use industry best practices. I like to use well-known frameworks. ISO 27002 is a good place to start because it has 140, I think, controls that you can use. CIS 20 controls is a good one for like smaller companies, smaller enterprises. There are some specific requirements like PCI DSS would be a good one if you do a risk assessment for like a merchant or someone that has deals with credit cards. In health industry, there is HIPAA, which also does set of requirements. So, but ISO, well, NIST is a good one. NIST 853, and then there is a Canadian equivalent, TSG 33, I think it's called. And then NIST also has like 53 is for government bodies, and then 171 is for everyone else. But it's very similar. So use that one. OWASP is a good source, especially if you want to do like let's say you assess large language models. You use OWASP Top 10 for LLMs. If you assess your web applications, then use OWASP Top 10, right? If you focus on those 10, right, then there's a high chance you'll cover most of, if not all, what is needed. So that's I hope I answered your question, Ari.
I think you're mute. Oh, yeah, I think you did. I think
Yeah.
you did. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. And again, it goes to show that how do I say it? Like minds think alike, or bright minds think alike, or how do they say it? Right. Yeah, thank you. It takes I can't say enough that that's exactly what we preach. Okay. Tito, yeah, you're next, I think. He's good.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Simon. Simon. Thank you also, Lasisi, Toby, right? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this session. I mean, I really learned a lot. Really insightful. So my question is, I think it's just like a double-edged question. So presently, I'm doing an intern, so I just switched career. Although for some years I've been in IT, but I just switched careers, and I've actually always been interested in cybersecurity since way back home. But now I'm really just going into it. Right now I'm doing an intern, and what the project we're working on essentially is compliance. And it's one of the things that's it's really piquing my interest more now, even though at some point I love to play with I mean, last year, since September till December, I was doing a lot of analyst job. Like I had some project that I worked on, but now I'm kind of a little bit more interested going into compliance because I just love working with people and policies. Yes. So right now I'm just thinking. I know I may want to first get an entry role in compliance. So I want to know what is the prevalence right now. I mean, with compliance job, I know, and what are the things I need to get? Like, I know you talked about CISA. I'm actually thinking of doing CISM from ISACA. I want to know. I just want your advice on how you can, advise me how I can, and also the projects because I know compliance. If I'm working as an analyst, I may be playing with Qualys and Nessus and just put my findings on GitHub or I mean just having a project like maybe like a home project in that sense. But for compliance, what would you advise? Right now in the intern, we are doing ISO 27001. That's what we are working on, and that's that we're moving to SOC 2. How would I put something like that? I mean, to showcase, okay, these are the things I'm doing. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no, it's a good question, Tito, and nice meeting you. So compliance, we're talking about IT risk compliance, I guess, because there's different compliances. There's financial, legal and compliance and things like that. So it's an interesting area. Why it's interesting area is because it's you are not hands-on anymore. Like it's rarely you actually do some stuff by yourself, right? But you are expected to have done something in the past. You know what I'm saying? Like if you so when I switched to like IT risk compliance consultant, to Deloitte, I didn't know many things, but I knew network security. I knew Active Directory and Microsoft security infrastructure. So that landed me a job in Deloitte, and it was a pretty entry-level position, right? They look mostly for soft skills, but then if you've done something, you have a degree and you have some experience, it's always value add. But I wasn't a developer. Like I still don't code, right? I mean, I do some basic things, but that's it. And I didn't do, for instance, like database management. I had to learn that, right? So there is different doors that can lead you to this compliance, right? And then you can come, like security is, like when I started in my university, there was information security. And frankly, my first big job, we didn't have a security person. Like I was a network administrator, I did security. Then my sysadmin did a little bit of security. Then application developers did a little bit of security. There was no such thing as security. Hey, look at now. It's just exploded. Like there is so many niches in security. You do have to specialize, right? You can't just do everything. But then compliance is like you expected to know about everything, about a little bit about everything, right? So that makes it challenging, right? You said you like working with people, you like policies. This is perfect, right? But then how do you, like, what can you learn? What can you have done to land a job in compliance? It can be like, if it's a level, you can be good at something, and then you come in and then you learn about something else. My advice would be, I'll give you a couple of ideas, right? And there's other things you can do. Let's say sign up for like AWS or Azure if you haven't done so, and build your own.
Yeah, sorry, okay. I have solution architect. I did that last year. Yeah.
Awesome. So this will help you tremendously. Build your own infrastructure, right?
Great.
You will pay $10 for that, okay? Like if you play for a few days. Build, your like security infrastructure, right? Document it. So you've done solution architecture, perfect. You're probably good with Visio, Mermaid, and other tools. So make it visual, right? Then document. Do a threat model. You can do it manually. You can use a tool. Microsoft has a free tool. It's called SDL Threat Modeling Tool. There is some paid tools. You can like just use a free trial. Do a threat model, right? Document this on your GitHub. Make an article in Medium, right? For instance, just like that. That's going to be your project. Then maybe create another infrastructure, right? Focus on I don't know, like network security, right? Then do like a risk assessment, like what Ari was asking about. What would be a good risk assessment? Just pick controls, 20 controls, 25 controls, document. Well, that's going to be your second project. So if you want to go into compliance, that's probably what you're going to be doing there, right? So do it before you get there. Showcase that you know what you need to do. You've already tried this, right? And you'll succeed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much. Threat model and controls. Thank you so much.
Interestingly enough, what I tell people is, if you're looking for projects, just look at your home. We've all got internet. Your home is a network. You have a network in your home. Do an assessment on your home. Know how you're doing. Make recommendations for yourself and implement it. That's a project. That's a project you can document and put on your profile. You have a lot of IoTs in your home. You have your router. You have a lot of things that you can assess and build, and you can use a certain framework to do it. That would be a good starting point as well. So if you're looking for a project, that's a starting point. And you can make up projects too, even if you have a job that is not currently security, but you use tools. You use tools on your job. You can start there. Do an assessment of what you're doing. You can present it to your boss. And I don't know if she's here. There's someone that was, and she's still currently on our program, who did that for our company. Now they moved her to the security function. She did an assessment for a maturity assessment for a company. She wasn't part of the security team, and now she's part of the security team. So you can, like exactly what Simon said earlier. There are certain things you have control over. There are certain things you don't have control over. You have control over the things you do. So you can create projects around you, even if the world somehow has conspired not to give you projects to do. You can create projects around yourself and build this experience. Remember, every experience counts, right? Yeah, thanks a lot for sharing that. Is there any other question on Zoom before I take the one I have on LinkedIn? we have over 30 people here. Is there any question you would like to, is there anything you would like to know or you would like to ask Simon? If not, okay, so someone on LinkedIn, I think is Emmanuel, said, beyond the certifications you've mentioned, are there other basic or what I like to call easy win certifications that are necessary for basic knowledge in cybersecurity?
So certifications, yeah, there are some entry-level certifications, like Security Plus or this new one, I think it's called Cybersecurity from IC Squared. You can take.
Yes.
Yeah, but think about what differentiates you from other candidates. Like if every other candidate has that sort of entry-level certification, like how do you stand out, right?
Yes.
Like so if everyone has that CC certification and then you are the only one that has, let's say, AZ 500, like Microsoft Security Associate certification, that will make you stand out, because to earn that certification you have to have done something, by hands, right? Like you have some practical experience in addition to knowledge of like Microsoft Azure environment. Just an example. I'm not promoting Microsoft, by the way. Like I could have equally said Amazon or Google. Like it's just an example, right? So think about what will make you stand out, right? And go for it. Most of cloud certifications, vendor certifications, they're relatively cheaper compared to CISSP, which is, I think it's 600 US, right? Or like CISA, which is 575, if you remember, US dollars. It's pretty significant. If you don't make money or you have a job just to pay the bills, like I can see that, right? So it's with Microsoft, it's I think most of them is 165 US dollars, but I heard that you can actually get a discount. But yeah, don't take my word. Like look it up. Amazon, most of their entry level certifications are $100, and then the next level, like professional or specialty, is 300 US. So still cheaper, but then it can open up many doors for you because you can demonstrate that you've had your practical experience in addition to just knowing the theory.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I hope I answered the question, Tommy.
I think you did, and I'll just add to what you said. I usually recommend, like you said, if you don't have a job paying for it, those bigger ones can, of course, be a bit of a challenge. And a lot of people, they're looking to move into cybersecurity because in today's world, it is lucrative, right? There's a passion there, and then there's the love for the money in a way, right? So if you're not making that kind of money yet, you may want to start with the smaller ones, like you said, the cheaper ones. I usually recommend even Qualys certification. It's even free. That's something you're proving that you know vulnerability management. And there are a number of them you can take from there. It's absolutely free, right? And in our program, that's what we say. To start with the ones that are probably even faster to get. Well, you would get the knowledge. It would take you wouldn't have to pay like another $2,000 for training school to learn a $600 certification to pass it, right? You can learn on your own. You can get a lot of practical knowledge. Some of the ones you can even look at are framework specific, standard specific, like ISO 27001, like SOC 2 PCI related certifications. And I'm not talking about PSA or ISA. Those are also expensive. And so I'm talking about like PCI specialists and the likes. Those are, I call them easy wins, but they're not so easy to get, but they're cheaper, and you can get the knowledge faster. It's so those are the ones I would add, just in addition to what you said. But yeah, thank you for sharing that. Okay, I think I saw another question. Let me see if I can get it it's on LinkedIn. While I'm looking, if there's a question on Zoom, please go ahead and ask. You can unmute and ask a question. But okay, so for the question on certification, that's on LinkedIn. Aside those, oh wait, is it the same thing? I think it's oh no, okay. So on interview questions, is it best to answer a question like this? Tell me about yourself, or can we meet you? Okay, I don't quite understand that question, Emmanuel. do you need to brief? Okay, do you need to brief about your past, present experience, and also what you're bringing to the table? Okay, so I guess the question is, how do you answer? Tell me about yourself in an interview. Let me know if that's not the question.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it's a good question. Keep it under 2 minutes. I think that's the key. You don't want to say too little, like, "Oh, I'm Simon." Like, tell me about yourself. "Oh, I'm Simon. I'm like looking for a job." This is not enough. And then don't make it like 10-minute spiel. 2 minutes is probably a golden rule. So what you want to say is, this is actually, I don't ask this question, and the reason for that is because I think I mentioned, like, I like to have a use more scientific approach. So like, I have my questions which I will ask, and then I just measure the answers, and then I just compare apples to apples. So when I ask a question, "Tell me about yourself," well, okay, 99% people know the answer. Like, they already thought about this, because this is the first question like you will find in every HR guide. So what's the point? If you like one of those 1% that didn't get prepared for this answer, well, too bad. Right? That's the end of discussion, right? So it's like there is certain bar which I expect every candidate to kind of pass, and that question would be a given. Or tell me about when you had to, like, I don't know, you had to say no to your boss or something like that. I don't like to spend time on this, because I know people who, if they really prepared, they probably have a good answer. So what good does it do? Like, it doesn't really tell me much. But if you didn't come prepared, you will fail my other questions. Right?
Absolutely.
So I don't ask this question, but if I were to answer this question, I would basically, in those 2 minutes, like, combine your experience, your knowledge, like if you have a certification, a degree from somewhere which adds value, but then answer a question like why you what you bring to the table, like what's the value add that you bring to that company. Try to answer it this way, because again, like, remember, you are the product you selling, right? So to be successful, you need to be a little bit more assertive than you usually are, and obviously don't be just bold, right? But like, there needs to be a balance, and this is your, if you have this question, this is your choice to shine and just say how awesome you are.
Absolutely. You know, what I've seen happen with those questions, I've seen interviews go in a certain direction. How you answer that question determines the direction your interview goes, just like you said. I've seen interviews where, tell me about yourself. Most of the questions that would come after that would really be around what you said during tell me about yourself. And like you said, tie your experience back to the value you're bringing to the table. If you've done your homework, you would have seen what the job description says. You would have picked from it the challenge that company, or like what problem they're trying to solve with the person they're bringing on board. If you can tie your tell me about yourself back to that, then you're in for something, right? And if that response is interesting enough, the hiring manager will probably dig deeper into your response to say, "Oh, you mentioned that you did this. Can you tell me about?" Because yes, maybe that's something they have. There's a challenge they're trying to solve. You said you worked on this vulnerability management program. Can you tell me a little bit about what, or did you face this challenge? Maybe it's a challenge, an internal. Did you face this challenge? How do you work around it? And then that dictates how your interview goes sometimes.
Yeah, Toby, what I would add also as well is, when I don't want this to be like a workshop on passing the interview, but one of the things I would recommend is like do a background check about the company. Obviously, know about like some things about the company, because sometimes HR might ask you a question. "Oh, what do you know about our company?"
Yeah.
So you don't want to say, "Well, nothing," right? So that would be unfortunate. But learn about your hiring manager. If you know the name, sometimes you don't know the name, so obviously it's kind of sucks. But you can do your open source intelligence and see. Like, some people are pretty vocal on LinkedIn about the role they have, and so what you can do, you can Okay, don't connect to that person yet. Okay, just look at their profile, right? See what they're up to. So, people like to brag about their accomplishments. So maybe that, like, just look up that person, like LinkedIn, and maybe they have a Medium or Substack, or maybe they do like they passionate about something, work related or outside of that. Make that connection, right? I mean, be a little bit um, like use this trick, right? Because we're all human beings, right? And so for you, like if that person has 50 other candidates, and then you make that connection and you make it relevant to what they do or what they like, you make that comment, and you may say, hey, like, I by the way, I saw that you really like photography, and yeah, you take amazing pictures, and like, by the way, like, I do this too, or I'm just making it up, but you know what
But
I'm
yeah, but
saying?
that's a connection for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Do your research. Use open source, obviously. Don't invade their privacy. Don't stalk people, but do some research.
Yeah. No, absolutely. The interesting thing, I've seen someone use UFC for me because I watch UFC a lot, the martial arts. And it used UFC for me the first day on the job, we were talking about the fight that happened the weekend. Because I remember that, oh, this guy likes UFC, and I know we'd have things to chat about. So the day he started the job, was supposed to be having his onboarding. We're just talking about we're talking about the fight that happened over the weekend. So definitely that works. Thank you for sharing that. We are almost, in fact, we're already 26 minutes over time. We will not take more questions at this point. Thank you so much for this session. Before we go, I'll just like to share with our people that, in fact, let me put the link in the chat. We have a Telegram group that you can join, and it's not at any cost to anybody. We share projects that people can get on. Who was it that asked about compliance and risk-related projects? We share projects that you can work on. We share tips and ideas on really how to. Oh wait, I can't. Let me find the link, and I will share. Okay, I think this is it. Okay, yeah, this is it. So I'll put the link in the chat. You can join the Telegram group. You will definitely learn a lot from it. And next week, because we're celebrating our 5th year as a company. Next week, we have this session every third Saturday of the month where everybody that's gone through our program comes together and share like on-the-job experiences. We'll be opening our doors again, just like we did today. So we'll be sharing more information via email and on social media. So try to join that so you can learn from those that have gone through this journey or that have recently gone through a similar journey as yourself. So thank you so much, Simon. Is there any last advice you want to give to our people before we round up for the day?
I guess a lot of things I said today. If I can give like career advice or advice for the interview is, hey, like just bring the best of yourself, like sleep well, eat well, don't try not to stress. So like be in the best physical and mental shape that you can be, and then just be yourself. Like, I'm sure you are all awesome, like in your own ways, and you have fascinating profiles and backgrounds, and just try to showcase that and build that connection with the hiring manager, so that you will be remembered, and bring positive energy to the table. I think that's what I would say.
All right, thank you so much. That's definitely a big advice. Remember, in an interview, they're not just looking at your technical skills. Yes, they want to know that you can do the job. Ultimately, they're looking at, can you be a team player? Can I relate with this person? It's more relationship than just the job. So thank you so much for that. And I've shared Simon's LinkedIn link to his LinkedIn profile. If you want to add him, please do that. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here, and say a big thank you. And I have to thank Sulyma as well for setting this up and making this happen. Thank you. She's my partner. She's always available to help us. So yeah, I appreciate you spending your time with us. I know you're supposed to be traveling, or maybe it's not this week. I know you're supposed to be somewhere.
Tomorrow, yes.
Oh yes,
you're
that's
right.
That's right. So yeah, we're so grateful for at least you spending time with us, and we'll definitely be happy to bring you back again. I know you're busy, but I hope you can spend some more time with us sometime in the future.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, and thanks for the great questions, everyone. I appreciate that.
For sure, we enjoyed ourselves. I enjoyed myself. Thank you all for today. Let's do it again next week. Until next time, bye for now.
Bye, everyone.